On the figures of people on medication, yes, there's a huge reduction. I think almost 50%. I would I mean, it's good if that's the case. I would just be interested in knowing how that's happened. How have they suddenly reduced? Over the period of 2 years, are there nearly 2,000 people that are off their meds now, or, as was asked in Parliament, what is the scope? Which people have been included in those figures? What medications have been included in those figures, or people on what medications have been included in those figures? Because it doesn't tally. To have nearly 4,000 in 2020 and then just under 2,000 in 2022 seems a rather large discrepancy. Yeah.
And on the figure that the Minister revealed in Parliament of those receiving therapies, again, considerably less, 139, that figure was mentioned. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, this isn't surprising. Unfortunately, this is what happens in many parts of the world, and I do emphasize that because it's not, I don't want to pretend that Gibraltar is worse off than anywhere else. It isn't. But that doesn't mean to say that it's okay to be the way we are. I mean, it is acknowledged generally by people in this field that a combination of both medication and, in many cases, or in some cases, depending on what the conditions are, that some kind of talking therapy is equally important. Obviously, we don't have that.
In respect of assisted living, you launched a campaign a couple of weeks ago calling for more beds in assisted living accommodation. But the Minister has addressed this in Parliament, hasn't he? He said that there just isn't the demand.
Well, I don't really know what he's basing it on, except that he said that he hadn't received any requests from the care agency. That struck us as a rather strange comment, in the sense that, we all know that government departments are all they've all been told to cut expenses and so on. So how would it be expected for people in the care agency to be pushing for this? There is a need. We have often been told by professionals in the system that there is a need for quite a few more beds in assisted living, and we know for a fact that there are people that are service users living in the community on their own with some kind of support, but who are not coping. So I think the Minister maybe needs to be better informed about this matter.
You've also raised concerns about what you believe to be a lack of a suicide audit and a suicide prevention strategy as well. Can you just expand on the issues that concern you?
In the 2019 situational analysis report, which we normally refer to as the audit because it's a bit of a mouthful, one of the 49 recommendations was that there should be a suicide audit, and that there should, if necessary, also be a suicide prevention strategy implemented. And I don't think, from what the Minister said in Parliament, I don't think that either of those things have happened.
And finally, if I can just ask you what your thoughts are on the budget for mental health care. Was revealed in Parliament as 5.7 million.
Yes, well, I don't know what the overall budget of the GHA is, so obviously I don't know what percentage this is. I would say that the mental health budget should be quite a substantive percentage, because if we think that 1 in 4 people are affected by mental health problems at least once in their life, it's it's 25% of the population. So I think that should be reflected in our mental health budget.